Fish don't fry in the kitchen. Beans don't burn on the grill. Kevin in the kitchen. A couple of years ago, we, busy pub kitchen in the middle of London, were in need of a new head chef. Here comes this Bulgarian guy, about 25, claiming to have experience in busy kitchens. I wonder if he's the Kevin of the story. Kevin had no idea how to boil an egg. He put one in the microwave as is, and it obviously blew up immediately. Kevin thought he could avoid actual work by pretending to be busy washing the salad. One leaf for 40 minutes straight. Never have I seen one man go so far to avoid work. I almost admire it. Kevin managed to make a double burger after a few weeks, and he was so proud that he took a picture and posted it on his Facebook with the caption, "Food is art." It was assembled upside down. I mean, it's modern art. Kevin took 2.5 hours to prep one Scotch egg. For anyone unfamiliar with British food, it's a soft-shell boiled egg wrapped in sausage and haggis meat, panated in egg and breadcrumbs, and deep-fried. It is a popular bar snack. To put things in perspective, I can make 12 of them in like 20 minutes, including the boiling time for the eggs and not rushing. So let's extrapolate that. How long would it take Kevin to make 12 Scotch eggs? Well, it took him 150 minutes to make one, so 12 gives us 1,800 minutes, which is, of course, 30 hours. So, yeah, basically an entire work week to make 12 Scotch eggs. He's hopeless. Kevin also took 5 hours to make 7 portions of fish cakes. Again, anyone else in the kitchen could make 15 portions in like 40 minutes at the most. Yeah, step it up, Kevin. We got hungry customers out here. As soon as the tickets were starting to rush in, Kevin suddenly remembered he had something really important to do, and he would disappear into the office for hours. We all see what's going on, Kevin. You're not fooling anybody. Is anybody gonna talk to the owner about the new head chef? In the rare instances that Kevin was actually forced to be on the pass working, Kevin would panic as soon as he got more than one ticket with one item on it. Burger with triple chips? Panic mode engaged! That's alright, folks. Just take it easy. It'll be out here in about 6 to 8 hours. Kevin would often stop food from coming out of the kitchen in the middle of rush hour to put his personal touch on them. Please don't. End result was a massive traffic jam of dishes ready to go on the pass, and the one dish that was supposed to go down turning cold because Poop for Brains took 20 minutes to draw a circle on the plate with the ketchup bottle. Bro, this isn't 5-star dining, this is pub food. Get it together. Kevin decided that the best way to clean a stick blender would be to put it in the dishwasher. Engine, wire, and all. Oh God. This is a somewhat costly mistake, right? Somebody's gonna find out right about now, right? Kevin once had to take a delivery early in the morning. We used the dumbwaiter to send food to the bar and to bring in fresh deliveries. That specific delivery had several drums of vegetable oil for the fryers, 20 liters each, little over 5 gallons each for you Yanks. Everyone else, myself included, used to put the actual food in the lift and bring the oil drums into the kitchen by hand. But not Kevin. Being the genius that he is, he decides to put it all in the lift. All of them. Despite them not fitting into the lift and hanging on to the sides, cut to a couple hours later when we found the lift stuck between floors, the engine having gone into emergency stop, and the drums inside completely unreachable from either floor. Did I mention that this happened on a Friday morning, aka the most friggin' unbelievably busy shift in the entire week? I mean, he's really trying to work smarter, not harder, but he's missing the smarter parts. It's gonna be real difficult for you, Kevin. But before that, Kevin took delivery another time. Now, usually deliveries come in at about 7:30 a.m. By around 9 a.m., whoever took the delivery was usually done putting everything away and folding up the cardboard boxes for disposal, and they could start prep for the day with ease. But not Kevin. I was on shift for 11 a.m. that day, and I came in to see everything still around the kitchen, still in its boxes, and with that lazy a-hole just sitting there playing on his phone. And no prep done, and everything turned off, with the kitchen opening in mere minutes. How long could this possibly go on? Somebody, get rid of him, please. Kevin was on evening shift after a new hire, a guy almost his exact opposite. Hardworking, fast learner, smart as a whip. New guy had a 10 to 17 shift. Kevin, 16 to 22. Problem is, as soon as he came in, Kevin started to complain, "Hey, it was too hot," and he went home. Can't stand the heat? Get out of the kitchen. And yeah, he did. He was only there for 30 minutes, leaving this new guy completely alone. Although that guy is a total legend, pulled a 10 to 22 shift by himself like a boss, then went straight to the manager and resigned on the spot because, and I quote, "This BS I cannot tolerate." Yeah, let's be real. There's no amount of money in the world that's worth all this. Edit. Since many of you wonder if Kevin was fired, yes. He was 4 months in, and after losing half the kitchen staff, the new guy and myself, and a coworker, if the new guy was a legend, well, this guy is a legend cubed, massively experienced. Anything that could possibly happen in a kitchen, he's seen it, lived through it, and survived to tell the tale. And now he's standing on the unemployment line because Kevin. Come on. Okay, so this legend cubed coworker was about to go on holiday, and he told the manager that if he found that useless a-hole when he came back, he would move and take his girlfriend, who was also a coworker, who also hated Kevin with a passion, with him. And Kevin was fired only a week or so later. See, now we're making big brain plays. Why did it possibly take this long? Edit 2. I just realized I never wrote down the details of my departure. Since it can provide a bit of entertainment, here it is. Kevin, one fateful day, gets in a smug mood and wants to teach us how to make a perfect glaze. Needless to say, his perfect technique was all wrong from start to finish, leading me to believe that he either took it from some YouTube video and sort of forgot half of the steps, or he lifted it straight from 5-minute crafts. Well, like 5-minute craps, am I right? I was already more than fed up with his BS, and I called him out on it. Kevin got very upset and yelled, "Yeah, I'm the head chef!" To which I couldn't resist answering, "You ain't even a bad kitchen porter." Turned around, went straight to the manager's office and told him that I was leaving. Later, I heard from my coworkers that Kevin wasted everyone's time insisting that I be fired for insubordination. Wow, that's a really big word, Kevin. You sure you didn't hurt yourself on that one? On a side note, let me be clear that I don't intend kitchen porter as an insult. No, sir. In my experience, one good kitchen porter is worth his weight in gold. And if it were for me, I'd much rather lose 3 good chefs than 1 good kitchen porter. Or in other words, a good kitchen porter keeps the kitchen running like clockwork. A bad kitchen porter makes the kitchen crash like a train wreck. Kevin, as you can already guess, was worse than a bad kitchen porter. Well, honestly, I'm super glad he got fired. Finally, managers screwed their head on straight. Probably the owner has no idea that all this went on, which is unfortunate, but also if you're that hands-off with your business, what else can you expect? The curious part to all this is that OP has posted 3 different Kevin stories, all about Kitchen Kevin, so I guess the next one will be just a completely new Kevin, and I'm sort of excited to get into that, so let's jump on over and see how it goes. The Kitchen of Horrors, or How I Met a Herd of Rabid Kevins and Lived to Tell the Tale. Wow, you're building that one up quite a bit, ain't you? Probably I'm just unlucky to get so many stupid folk in my way, Or somehow I've developed the worst superpower in history, like a magnetic field that only attracts dimwits. Or maybe there's just so many Kevins out there that one just can't help but bump into the molasses for brains absolutely everywhere. I honestly don't know. All of this to say that the following shining examples of Kevinness are unrelated to the other kitchen Kevin that I've already wrote about. Sadly. They are everywhere. They are legion. I mean, luckily they're usually harmless. They'll end up breaking stuff, but that's about the worst of it. That's why I like Stories About Kevin so much. A little bit of background here. I've worked for a short time in a busy restaurant chain in the middle of London, and I resigned when my Kevin tolerance had reached its limit. Head chef was this kid about 25. Not that that would be a bad sign per se. I've done a cooking course under a 22-year-old chef who was like a natural talent and a total genius, but this guy, 1 year earlier, was only working as a runner. He had no experience, and as it came out later, no formal knowledge or training. He did work hard, but he didn't work smart. What is the hiring practice at this place? You just walk out on the street, you're like, hey, you want to be the head chef? Come on in. This kitchen had an incredibly high turnover rate. Imagine that. Staff was coming and going on average of at least one change a week, either somebody resigning or somebody else coming in, which of course in any workplace is not a good sign. Absolutely, you need to make plans for departure yesterday. Now, down to the Kevinalities. Head Kevin had no fucking clue about organization or teamwork or task distribution. Basically, it was everyone for themselves. An example, you have 3 burgers with sweet potato fries on the ticket, one with cheddar cheese and bacon, the others with red Leicester and onion rings. A good kitchen team of 3 gets one to grill the burgers and drop the fries, another to cut, toast, and prepare the bread with lettuce, tomato, and whatnot, and the third one on the pass to handle the rest, warming the plates under the pass lights, preparing the sauce pots, garnish, and so on. Check everything, and then you send that food out to the customers. Nice and simple, right? Well, this particular kitchen nightmare worked on the idea of, if you get a ticket, you handle it from start to finish. I mean, the only way that's gonna work is if you're delegating tasks like was described above. Otherwise, you're just all bumping into each other trying to do the same thing. What is this place? This results in chefs tripping all over each other, dishes prepared twice or not at all, traffic jams on the counter, and absolutely no final quality control. And do keep in mind, this isn't the pub from earlier, so quality control is important. Now OP's working in a chain restaurant, and I'm sure this is a branch that's gonna shut down real quick. Both head Kevin and second Kevin, they were actually housemates, had no idea what cross-contamination was. And to this day, I'm fairly certain that they both faked their online courses on health and safety. Once, second Kevin had to prepare some bacon strips. He grabbed the bag of undercooked bacon, laid it on the pass, which is his first goddamn huge freaking mistake, raw meat on the counter where you assemble the dish that you're sending to the customer. Then he took a brown cutting board, not the cutting boards again. You're killing me. I can't handle it, but okay, it's your kitchen, your way. Tell me about the brown cutting board. That's the one that's color-coded to be used exclusively for stuff like onions, raw potatoes, and the like. He took a yellow knife, aka the one color-coded to be used exclusively for cooked meat, and then he starts chopping. God, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I want to just assume that he could learn if somebody took the time to teach him, but yeah, you're supposed to be certified. You're supposed to teach all yourself this, Kevin! One of the floor managers comes in, sees that, his face goes white, takes everything from under second Kevin, moves the proper red-colored board and knife onto the counter in the raw prep area, and drops the rest in the dishwasher straight away. Second Kevin gets upset because he didn't understand what he did wrong. See, and there's the rub. Like, did anybody explain it to him? I'm confused by the cutting board colors. Of course, I never claimed to be certified either. These Kevins used to prepare coleslaw from scratch using the sink as a mixing bowl. Oh, God. So horrible. The sink reserved for washing vegetables, mainly potatoes, more often than not without even bothering to clean the sink beforehand. Oh yeah, it's nice crunchy coleslaw. Extra iron in your diet. Jesus. Most boroughs have their own rules for garbage collection. Some sell pre-taxed bags and only collect rubbish that's been packed into them, and this was one of those. Big Kev, the manager, didn't buy the rubbish bags once for whatever reason, because he's a Kevin. So we couldn't put the garbage out for collection for like 2 freaking weeks. What was his genius idea? Let's hide it all in the basement. Yes, let's create a nest of rats and cockroaches right under our eating establishment. Are you out of your mind? Where are the owners? Somebody please help. An average of 4 large bags per day full of leftover food, flour, vegetable trimmings, chicken bones, eggshells, stale bread, just festering in the basement for 2 weeks. Oh my God. You understand it can't just stay down there, right? Speaking of manager Big Kev, I've heard through the grapevine that he was originally training as a general manager elsewhere, then all of a sudden he got transferred and demoted to simple waiter until a friend of his, the one who hired him in the first place, a mid-level manager, stepped in and reinstated him as a manager in training. What happened? I don't know, but I guess some serious stuff has been going on, maybe some theft or whatnot. The company probably didn't have definitive proof for firing him and opted for demotion. Sounds like something a Kevin would do. Oh, the books don't balance out? Yeah, that must be all of my subordinates. Head Kevin also once said, tomorrow's the busiest day of the week. Let's put just 2 people on shift and make one of them the new kitchen porter, literally at his first job experience that we hired 3 days ago. I'm sure nothing bad will happen. Yeah, why you guys falling behind? There's only 2 of you, you gotta work harder. Guess what? That chef resigned the very same evening, and then Head Kevin did the exact same thing again. That's the thing about Kevins, man. They just never learn. You could teach him the proper cutting board colors, but after lunch break, he's out. He doesn't remember again. Anyways, our oven had a self-cleaning cycle, but it needed some chemicals, of course. 2 blue bags and 1 red bag, coming in conveniently in 1 delivery. They ran out of red bags because all the Kevins were just dropping 3 bags of whatever was closest to grab. All right, now you just got to use up all the blue bags to balance it out. We had a blast chiller with an additional defrost functionality. Of course, none of the Kevins ever actually bothered to learn what that was, what was its purpose, or even how to use it. They were using it as a spare fridge, or to cool down preps before the walk-in fridge, or so they thought. They never realized it was set on defrost all the time, keeping all that food at that nice, comfortable temperature range for bacteria to reproduce like crazy. Or to quote Chef Ramsay, "You're trying to kill someone, you donkeys!" No, seriously, they need to be fired as soon as possible. The fact that manager Big Kev was put back into a management position, is that not terrifying? Anytime I go out to eat anywhere, I'm gonna be like, is he here? Is Big Kev in the back? Please say no. Just pack up my crunchy coleslaw and I'll leave before he makes his appearance. There's one more story of these that was posted relatively recently, which alerted me to the other 2, so we're just gonna wrap this up in one big bundle. And if OP has more stories, then I'll try to get to those in the future, I suppose. Kitchen Kevin part number 3, the maddening. Oh, we weren't already there yet? Okay. Well, people, it's been a while. 2 years. Work and life get in the way. That they do. Some of you may remember my past dealings with other Kevins in professional kitchens, but let me say that those were nothing. In the meantime, I've been both blessed and cursed to meet the Kevin. The Kevin Nest. The one Kevin to rule them all. The ultimate Super Kevin 3rd level with a power of incompetence over 9 trillion. There are truly no words, so let us begin. The most irritating thing in the world, I think, is the inability of the Kevin mind to correlate all its contents. They live on a placid island of ignorance in the midst of the black seas of infinity, and it was not meant that they should ever voyage far. The common sense, straining in its own direction, has hitherto harmed them very little.
That's beautiful, man.
First, a little bit of the old background. The combination of Brexit and lockdowns has had a serious effect on the food and drink industry, amongst others, and workers have been very difficult to find, leading to most retail points being understaffed, and many reopening partially, as in open bar but no kitchen at all, never reopening at all for lack of employees, or in some cases even opening, struggling to make ends meet, and ending up closed up and sold off. In other words, especially when getting near Christmas, which is the busiest season of the year, every company is pretty much desperate for personnel and will hire anyone and anything, no questions asked. I mean, you could probably be an insane cannibal showing up to an interview wearing no pants and chewing on a human leg, and all the manager would say was, can you start on Monday? That is one cool thing about the pandemic. It used to be jobs holding all this power. Now it's the people that got the power. I can walk outside, get a new job tomorrow. The setting of our tragedy is a smallish gastropub in central London. Tiny kitchen, but very busy with food, especially in the months right before the Christmas season. We've been looking for people for months with no success at all, so when the Kevin showed up, he got hired pretty much on the spot. Consider that by the time Big Kevin came into the kitchen, it had been severely understaffed for months, running with only one full-time chef, yours truly ROP, and 2 kitchen-trained bartenders alternating shifts between the front and back of the house. I'm starting to think OP is just cursed. Everywhere he goes, the hiring practice is just as shoddy as it can possibly be. You got 2 arms and 2 legs? Do all of your limbs work? Oh, one arm's not working? That's fine. Get in the back. The man, the legend, the insanity. So, the Kevin was on the older side. Honestly, he made a good first impression. Likeable, sociable, seemed eager, and he had worked in the same company before. A big plus. Means a candidate will not need to be trained from scratch, as the basic training like health and safety, fire safety, and so on are all the same. He came in shortly before I went on holiday. I always get some rest before the big push in winter because it gets very stressful. And my heart goes out to food service workers, man. That's one of the worst jobs out there. Worse than retail, I will say. Anyway, my front of house colleagues were both veterans, and he already had his basic training done, so it's just learning the kitchen layout and memorizing the menu. Nothing major, right? Right? I came back after my vacation and found my colleague, who was holding the manager title at the time, at her wit's end and pretty much wanting Kevin's head on a platter, for reasons that will become clear shortly. Okay, calm down, I say. Maybe he just needs to be trained again. I'll do as many shifts as possible with him and retrain him from scratch. 2 weeks later, I wanted Kevin's head on a platter, and a truckload of parsnips covered in hot chili peppers wedged up his rectal cavity. OP then goes to have a conversation with his colleague. Look, I don't think I've ever been so wrong. We need to get rid of this expletive deleted of a genital reference before he drives us all insane. Well, there's the new manager coming in to take over, and I don't really want to put him in front of a done deed. Seems rude. Okay, let's hold on to the wanker for just a little bit longer then, I guess. New manager comes in. We talk about the situation. It's about mid-November by now. Christmas season is just behind the corner. He's worried that we might be understaffed at Christmas, so he decides to hold on to Kevin at least until the season is finished. You realize he's only going to complicate things, right? Maybe you don't. Maybe you have to see it in motion. 1 month later, in the middle of December, with bookings left and right, Kevin finally gets fired. It has been too much, even for this new manager. I mean, that's a good manager, right? He takes out the trash. He calls them as he sees them. We continue into a public service announcement. Okay, I will admit that all of that we just talked about was only to make you wonder exactly what in the ever-loving hell this Kevin had done. Oh, we're Tarantinoing around a bit. I don't know if I like it. But that is for your mental well-being, my dear readers. Oh, thank you, I guess. So you would have some time to prepare yourself for the abysmal show of a grown man who has reached maturity without even encountering the concept of common sense once in his life. So please, sit down, put down your drink to avoid spitting at your screen, take off your hat if you wear one, because you will scratch your head repeatedly. And if you are or have ever been a kitchen worker, I strongly suggest you tie a pillow to your forehead so you don't hurt yourself when you feel the urge of smashing your face into the closest wall. Wow, that might be a bit over the top. Can I add to this suggestion list? If you listen to the video this far, you probably liked it, so subscribe to ReddX. Hey, got him! So let the madness begin. The Chronicles of Kevin, the Destroyer of Sanity. Kevin has no concept of multitasking. A ticket is a list to be done in order, completely, from start to finish with no overlapping. For example, let's say you got table 2 ordering a fish and chips, a fish finger sandwich with chips, and a portion of chips in that order. Oh, by the way, for you people on the other side of the Atlantic, chips in the UK are the big fat potato fries. Fries are your regular French fries, and crisps are what you would call chips. There's too many words for taters. Y'all just bring me some biscuits and mustard. A sane chef would, of course, drop 3 portions of chips, a battered fish, and fish fingers, then toast the bread and prepare the plating. Total time for the ticket, the time for the fish to cook through, which is about 6 or 7 minutes. But not Kevin. Kevin was probably afraid to anger the gods if he ever did more than one thing at a time. So what he would have done was drop the fish, wait for it to cook, take it out, drop 1 portion of chips, wait, take them out, prepare the plate for the fish and chips, plate it, then drop the fish fingers, wait, take them out, drop 1 portion of chips, wait, take them out, toast the bread, put the fish fingers in the bread, prepare the plate, plate the sandwich, drop 1 portion of chips, wait, take them out, prepare the bowl, plate the chips in the bowl, and finally call for a waiter. Total approximate time for the ticket, whatever, too goddamn long. You better hope those customers are good as sauced up. 30 minutes flies by super fast when you're ultra drunk, right? Then it's just like a nice little surprise. You're like, oh, I forgot I ordered fish fingers, man. Kevin also had his own concept of portioning, which is to say, almost at random. He would put a cubic ton of fries on a plate and like only 3 chips in number on the plate right next to it. I say almost because oddly enough, he would always overportion fish, like a lot. Why? Because this Kevin thought he got to eat that extra fish for free. I mean, benefits of the job and whatnot. I realized that at a certain point, and I did a little experiment. One day we got 2 portions of fish fingers on order, so I asked Kevin to drop 2 portions. And lo and behold, he dropped like 5. This was over 2 months in, by the way. Anyway, instead of letting him have the extra 3 portions, I threw him in the bin straight away and looked at him. He was pouting like a child that didn't get any candy. But it certainly sent a message that Kevin has to sneak them the next time. Kevin also had no concept whatsoever of quality. If something existed in the kitchen, it was good enough. I don't need to tell you that sometimes things do get ruined by accident. In that case, you just throw it away and write it off as waste. Not Kevin, though. Kevin would take a smashed burger bun that's literally falling apart and serve it, even if it looked like a dog chewed on it. God, that's heinous, bro. No, I'm not paying for that. Kevin also applied his policy to pot wash, loading the dishwasher with 3 or 4 plates tops, making it run, and then doing absolutely nothing in the meanwhile. Oh, and sometimes he wouldn't feel like actually, washing the dishes, so he'd just hide the dirty dishes in between the clean ones. Bro, you have a dishwasher. What are you doing? Preps? Dear cooks and chefs and kitchen workers in general, have you ever seen a man prepare 12 portions of salad one at a time? Have you ever seen a man take 4 hours to close down? And by close down, I mean like clean off surfaces, wash the dishes, put away tools, and mop the floor after turning everything off. Kevin would also complain all the time about everything. He wanted free food. He wanted front of house to clean the kitchen for him. He wanted the other kitchen staff to do preps and service in his place. He didn't want to do double shifts. He didn't want to work solo shifts. He didn't want to open and he didn't want to close. Pretty much he just wanted to be paid for the pleasure of his company. Bro, this is a useless worker through and through. I just don't understand how they're lasting as long as they are. Is nobody talking to the manager? Oh wait, the manager's he's maybe still a Kevin. Well, that throws a monkey wrench in this whole thing. Kevin would also not accept any kind of responsibility or request for improvement. Not his fault for anything it was. Always someone else's. Example, he doesn't do any preps. So you ask him why, and he says, nobody told me to. Okay, then you make a list and put it on the pass, and he still does nothing that was on it, and you ask him why, and he says, he didn't see it. Okay then, let's write another list, and freaking glue it on the goddamn pass. I'm talking about an A4 sheet stuck between the shelves with duct tape like a curtain, right in the freaking middle. Not even a blind cyclops could miss this. Yet, Kevin doesn't do anything on the list, and when confronted, he says, I didn't know it was meant for me, despite having his freaking name in capital letters right on top. Do these excuses always work for you, Kevin? This is just all types of pathetic, bro. Kevin would also rant and go on some absolutely bonkers conspiracy theories. My favorite one is the one about him being almost ran over by Iraqi terrorists back in the 90s because he wrote a letter to Tony Blair advocating in favor of participation in the Gulf War. The final act of this memorable train wreck of a man consists in 3 exploits, of which 2 were on the same day. Oh, final act. That's good. That means we're getting him the hell out of here. Wollt ihr das Kevin in Flammen sehen? I understand 2 of those words. Imagine, if you will, a busy gastropub in the middle of Christmas season. During the lunch rush, 2 bookings of about 20 people each just came in. And the freaking delivery came in so late that we are currently unloading things right in the middle of the restaurant. My fellow cooks and chefs will understand. For all the others, let me just say that this is the stuff that nightmares are made of. So we all go into emergency mode straight away. New manager handling service, holding manager on the pass, me slamming the freaking delivery away and dropping stuff on the cookers and fryers in between the runs. Later on, they made a bit of fun of me, saying I look kind of like the cartoon Tasmanian Devil. And Kevin, well, Kevin was just standing around. You ask him to do something, he would move very slowly, waste time, or just blabber away and ignore you completely. Later on in the evening, we got another booking, but as it was confirmed kind of late and in the chaos of the time, the kitchen rota wasn't amended, so Kevin was scheduled to finish right when the booking was coming in. Now in this business, an unwritten rule is don't leave your mates in the crap if you don't want to be left in the crap yourself. Guess what? Kevin, who has already been of absolutely no use during lunch, insisted he was scheduled to finish early and he wanted to finish early. At this point, I lost my temper, told him to go screw off and that he's useless. Which honestly, not an inaccurate statement. Not even 5 minutes later, my other colleague, the kitchen trained front of house, came in the kitchen, got changed, and helped me out without anyone even asking him anything. Freaking legend, that dude. So the booking done, I have a chat with the manager and put straight away that this is freaking enough. And I don't ever want to see Kevin alive or dead again. I feel it, man. Like I said, no paycheck in the world is worth all this. Now at this point, there's been a flood of cancellations due to a resurgence of COVID, the Omicron variant, if I recall correctly. So the next day we decided to keep the kitchen closed, and myself and another colleague from another pub would have gone to a third pub to help them out with their own bookings since they were short-staffed. The head chef got sick, if I remember correctly. Kevin wasn't notified of this. We were just planning on having a chat with him as soon as he came in, and boom, we'd fire him. But everyone underestimated Kevin's laziness, it seems. He didn't know I was in the other pub, and he would have to do a double, not alone, however, so he just called in sick. Must be nice. Although that does make the firing easier, doesn't it? The day after, he got to talk anyways, and as predicted, he tried to blame everyone else but himself for everything, trying to paint himself as the sole victim. How do you survive? How do you go through your entire life like this? Have you ever thought of just like a scrap of personal responsibility? Just a glimmer of self-reflection? Please, for God's sake. The eternal sunshine of the mindless Kevin is our final entry. For some time after, talking with the other coworkers, we all realized that oddly enough, Kevin had gotten worse instead of improving with time, but something felt off. Like he was deliberately messing things up on purpose. The most popular theory was that because he was lazy, he was actually doing that hoping that someone else would just get so exasperated that they'd take over and do his job for him. I mean, there's merit to it. There's a reason my wife doesn't let me mop the floors no more. Me, however, I just got the impression that I was dealing with an overgrown, lazy, spoiled man-child. And before you ask, no, I don't know if he had any mental problems. I doubt it anyways. There was way too much method to his stupidity. Anyway, that's it, dear readers. Enjoy it, if you will, and be sure to offer thanks to all supernatural entities you might worship that you never have to deal with the final form of human incompetence, the Kevin. Farewell, and have a good night, all. I really do hope OP doesn't encounter any more Kevins, but there seems to be a lot of them in the kitchen, or just because of OP's debuff that he doesn't know he has. Endless Kevin encounters for the rest of forever. I don't know, man. Dude's got a real cool writing style, and like I said, I'd never wish more Kevins upon him, but if it happens, then I hope he makes a post about it. Can I say that at the very least? Well, I'm gonna say it. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for watching, friends. Did you subscribe yet? Did you like, comment, ring the notification bell, all those other things that YouTubers say? We've also got lots of links down in the description, social medias. You should follow me on some of them that you use. I'd also like to thank my Patreon patrons and my gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful YouTube channel members. You guys really did save my bacon during July, and I don't have the words. Thank you very much, is what I will say. Take care of yourselves, wash your hands, stay safe out there, you know. Always remember, on top of all that, that you are loved, you are worthy, friends. You definitely, definitely deserve it. And I shall see you again tomorrow. So until then, friends, bye-bye.